Welcome to the Four Bells, and here we are doing a workout from home number 85. What are we doing here on this beautiful Friday workout? Well, the answer, if you're doing it on Friday with us, is to use today as accessory work for the work we are doing in this push-up cycle. So that means we're trying to attack the shoulder joint through the ranges of motion that we normally haven't used in our other workouts. So we're going to look at some overhead pressing, we're going to look at some supinated pulling, making sure we've got a nice, complete and healthy shoulder joint. So how are we going to warm up for our upper body day today? We're going to use one of my favourite movements. We're going to use some Turkish Getups. So we're going to spend 5 minutes doing some Turkish Getup practice, where we're going to do 1 rep. So if you know by now, 1 rep starts at the floor, we stand, we go back down to the floor, that's 1 rep. We're going to do 1 rep on one side, 1 rep on the other. And you've got a few choices when it comes to Turkish Getups today. Do you want to increase weight as you go through? Maybe you've got a whole bunch of dumbbells or kettlebells and you can start light and you'll go a little bit heavier as we go. Or do you have all manner of weird objects around your house that may challenge your stability? Either way, let's take a look at how the Turkish Getup should go down. With our Turkish Getups today, you can use very normal gym things. You can use dumbbells, kettlebells, maybe a barbell if you have tons of space at home, a bit crazy, but you can do it. Or if you're thinking and looking around, you're like, I don't really have a ton of stuff available. Get creative. I strongly encourage you. We've had some very fun stuff over the, well, I suppose the year-ish of doing workouts from home, of seeing people use things like cats, drum kits, ladders, all kinds of crazy stuff for Turkish Getups. So you're feeling crazy? Get crazy. We're going to spend 5 minutes doing one-on-one. So that means from the floor to standing and back down. We're going to try and do 5 minutes getting over progressively heavier or using different objects. So how does a Turkish Getup work? There are 6 steps from floor to standing. We're going to go through those steps nice and quickly. I start by laying down. So on my right side, this is my support side, which means my arms should be straight. I want my knuckles pointed to the ceiling. On my same side, that's my support leg. So I want this guy at about 90 degrees. And ideally, I'm not going to move my foot around too much. This one's going to stay planted on the floor. Left arm and left leg come out from the body at 45 degrees. And step 1 is rolling onto the elbow. Step 2 is up onto the hand. Step 3 is hips up. Step 4 is leg through. Step 5, lunge position. Step 6 is standing up. From here, we go back down the way we can. Knee down, hand down, leg through, bum down, elbow down, and lay down. So if we can, progressively heavier or weirder objects for 5 delightful minutes. For the strength piece today, we have 5 sets. Each set is 3 minutes long, split into 2 90-second windows of time. And in both of our 90-second pieces, we've got some options depending on what we have available to us. So in our first 90 seconds, we are doing a timed set, or in both pieces actually, we're doing timed sets, which means it's going to be dependent on how many reps you do. If you've got light weights or an easy variation, you're going to find you're going to smash out a lot of reps. If it's heavier weight, or I suppose a more challenging variation for you, then we need to be thinking about maybe doing less reps and thinking about the quality of those reps. So in my first 90 seconds, we'll be doing some kind of supinated pull. What's supination mean? Well, you've got pronation, you've got neutral. Supination, sup is what we are looking for when we are doing supination, which means you could be some kind of chin up, could be a negative, that's what I'd like you to do if you could, or it could be maybe ring rows or TRX rows in supination, palms up. It could be bent over rows with a barbell. Either way, we'll look at those in just a second. Our second 90 seconds will be a Z press or a Z press, however you like to pronounce it. Basically in the straddle position, seated on the floor. That minimizes any movement from the lower body. And again, we are trying to do 45 seconds of continuous pressing. So of course, with the Z press, just like any kind of weighted movement, we like to get a little bit heavier as the sets go on, but we're doing a lot of reps, and also a big factor can be overhead mobility. Either way, we're going to talk about both of these guys before we get started. When it comes to supinated pulling today, that means the palms are facing up or the palms are facing away from us. And all that means when it comes to our pulling is it means a little bit more focus on the biceps than it does the upper back. It's not a bad thing. It's what Fridays are for. Sometimes it's for biceps. So what do we have option-wise when it comes to things like supinated pulling? You could do bent over rows in a supinated position. I would recommend some kind of body weight movement today if it's available to you. So that could be something like a TRX or a ring row, where I have the hands set up in supination, and that's how I'm performing my rows. And if you can, if it's possible, I would really like to see some vertical supinated pulling, if that's possible. So that, of course, would be a chin-up. So hands just side of shoulder width, performing our chin-up. Or, if chin-ups are very difficult for you, maybe it's finding a slightly lower bar or jumping up. And we jump up, hold over, and then from there, we perform some negatives. So either way, we're trying to get as much work done in 45 seconds. With the Z press, we're looking to sit on the floor in a straddled position. So when sitting in this position, for a lot of people, it's very hard just to be here if you've got very tight hamstrings or very tight hips. A lot of people find that just their hips are so tight, makes them want to rock backwards and fall backwards, or they have to kind of crunch the legs up a lot. If you find that you need to bend the legs a lot to get this done, that's perfectly fine. If it's super uncomfortable for you to perform this, then of course sit on a box or a bench. Be nice to yourself. No point in being punished when you're trying to do your strength work. We're doing 45 seconds of Z press. When we're sitting on the floor, it just means the lower body cannot help us in any sneaky way at all. But it also means I need to be mindful of the upper body. If I'm very tight in the upper body, it's going to mean I'm going to end up pressing in maybe some weird ways. We're going to try and avoid that if we can. I'm going to have my dumbbells, which is my ideal tool that I'm going to have. Trying to keep my abs tight, chest up. We're going to press overhead for 45 seconds. It's as simple as that. The old Z press. With the conditioning piece today, we're having a 10-minute AMRAP with an ascending rep scheme, which means we have a couplet, we have 2 movements to go through. So what we've got are 2 movements today. We have a TRX or ring row. So if you do have rings or TRX, we'll be using those today. If you don't have a TRX or rings, then it could be some other form of bent over row of some kind. Could be single arm, could be double arm, depending on what you have available. And our second exercise is a hanging knee raise. So if you have a chin-up bar available, I'd like to see you do a hanging knee raise if that's possible. And if you don't have a hanging knee raise available to you, maybe you don't have a chin-up bar or somewhere to hang, then it could be leg raises from the floor today. So how do we start this workout? As you can see, it says 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and on. Which means I'm going to start by doing 2 TRX rows, 2 hanging knee raises, 4 rows, 4 knee raises, 6 rows, 6 knee raises, 8, 8, 10, 10, 12, 12, and on for 12, not 12, 10 glorious minutes. Let's take a look at both these exercises, how it should go down today. So when it comes to our conditioning piece today, we've got some rowing, we've got some ab work to do, but you know you've already done rowing in the strength piece today. So even though it says TRX and ring rows in the instruction, if you already did that in the strength piece, I probably recommend doing a different style of rowing, so that way you're not doing a million reps of the same thing. So what I would say is if you've done TRX rows or ring rows in the strength piece, maybe you're doing dumbbell bent over rows today instead, or with a barbell or something like that for the workout today. Maybe row with a cat, whatever you like. Either way, if you didn't do that, how should it look today? I'm going to do 2 ring rows and 2 hanging knee raises. So that means I set up, get my ring set up, I'm going to come back into my nice tight plank position. I'm going to perform 2 reps. I then come around. I'm going to do 2 hanging knee raises. Or, if hanging knee raises don't work for you, we're going to do leg raises. Hands underneath the bum, maybe on a mat, that would be nice too. And then once I've done 2, I come back into how I started, and I do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sneaky muscle up, and then we come back up onto the bar, and I do my 4 hanging knee raises. So that's how it should go down today. Rows, hanging knee raises, 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8, 8, going up and up and up and up and up. See how high you can go in 10 glorious minutes. With our extra sauce today, we have the cherry on top of our beautiful workout Sunday. And what are we doing today? We are doing a Tabata interval of magnificent bicep curls. It's Friday. It'd be rude not to finish your workout with a sweet, delicious bicep pump. How does a Tabata interval work? Well, by now, hopefully you know, Tabata intervals are 4 minutes long, split up into 8 intervals. Each interval is 20 seconds of work, followed by 10 seconds of rest. So originally used for aerobic capacity, but you can use them for muscular endurance too, which is what we're going to use them for today. So when it comes to bicep curls, what do you need today? You don't need much, so it really depends on what you have available to you. Do you maybe have a straight bar you can do bicep curls with? Do you maybe have a pair of dumbbells? Maybe you have 2 cats that you can hold by the tails. Maybe you have a kettlebell that you can hold by the horns. Maybe you have one big plate that you can do like a crushing grip on. Whatever it is, hopefully we can pick a weight that should be challenging, but doable, but also very challenging for 4 minutes. I'm in the gym, I'm very lucky, I have an EZ bar here. I love EZ bars, they're one of my favorite bars to use. Either way, when I'm doing my bicep curls, all I'm thinking to myself is, can I have something to lean against? So for me, I like a door frame or a post because it stops me from excessively arching if I start to get tired. So I lean in, bolster against it. What we're going to do is do 20 seconds of curls, nice, smooth, full reps, all the way down to the legs, all the way up to the chest. Rest for 10 seconds. We're going to do that 8 times until our biceps are ginormous. That is workout from home number 85. Have yourself a wonderful Friday workout. Let us know how you going.